Today's episode is truly a van life adventure. Hiya, I'm Frankie, and I spend most of my time living in my mini camper van, embracing what I call the joy route. Often I don't have a set destination or time frame in mind. On one of my trips of pure, unadulterated exploration, I found myself on a breathtaking drive through the majestic San Bernardino Mountains. As a wanderluster and nomad, spontaneity is part of the adventure. It fuels my creativity, and I rarely have a detailed plan. And child, I know I have a fear of heights, and even though I love mountains, they also terrify me. So my intention on this drive was to go up in the mountains as far as I could get up there before my fear became too unbearable. And I saw a pull off point and I pulled off as panic was creeping in. So I did a breathing technique. Did this breathing technique to calm me down, and it really worked. And in the midst of my chaotic, I should say, in the midst of this chaos, I repeated my affirmation. $1 million views inspire $1 million thoughts and motivate me to take $1 million actions in my content creation. So that's what I was chanting. $1 million views inspire $1 million thoughts and motivate me to take $1 million actions in my content creation. That was what I was creating. Because you see, living in a van, whether part-time, full-time, sometime, most of the time, does not imply a desire for less in life. While I do seek to minimize personal possessions and prioritize experiences, less junk and more journey, I also aspire to create abundance and wealth for my children and hopefully my future grandchildren. This is why I relentlessly chase these $1 million views. They serve as a catalyst for my motivation and they ignite my creativity. So I calmed down a bit and surveyed the landscape. I was terrified, noticing that, there was no place to turn around. I hoped that I would reach an end, which meant a safe place, but I had a nagging feeling that nowhere would feel safe for me to turn around. Knowing how scared I was of heights, I started driving again, and I was entranced by the beauty of the towering mountains, but I also felt a full-blown panic attack coming on. The road ahead seemed endless, taunting me with never-ending climb. I was driving at a snail's pace. Cars and camper vans and motorcycles were zooming by me, blowing a horn. Some even honked at me for driving too slowly. I watched in disbelief as the motorcycles zipped over the hill, thinking to myself, they gotta be crazy. At one point, I turned on my hazard lights as I continued driving because, again, there was nowhere to turn around and I was gripped by fear of my deepest heights. The road kept climbing, the mountain appeared to grow higher, and there was nowhere to turn around. I felt like I was driving in the clouds. Intrigue mixed with being terrified, and I was hoping to find a safe spot that I could pull off and regroup and figure out how much farther I could go and turn around. I had tears streaming down my face and sweat soaking my clothing. I realized there was no alternative. I had to make a difficult decision. So I stopped on a small, unsafe corner of the mountain. This was not an official pull-off spot, but there were no official pull-off spot. I felt overwhelmed. I was crying. I was panicking. I lost control of my emotions. So you know what I had to do? I had to call 911. So make a very long story short, the paramedics and ambulance, they came, they took my pulse and blood pressure, and I was in a full-blown panic attack. I was crying and sweating, y'all, and they asked if I wanted to go to the hospital, but I insisted I didn't. So they gave me a variety of options. One of the emergency personnel, he cleaned my windows, possibly believing that my dusty windows from wandering, they were dusty from me wandering. Maybe he thought because my windows was dusty, I couldn't see. Reason why I couldn't finish my exploration. Then a female staff member asked if I would be able to drive my own vehicle and if they drove in front of me. And I thought to myself that it would be like having training wheels on a big bike. I thought, hell no. But I didn't share because I could tell that she was a caring person based on the tone of her voice. So they asked if I was able to climb into the fire truck. And I was like, yeah, I can. And one of them, they said if I climbed into the fire truck, I could ride with them and one of them would drive my van, down the hill. So I was like, okay. And I climbed into the fire truck. I handed someone my keys and I just heard a flurry of kind words. We do this all the time. You're okay. You're higher up. You'll be higher up in the fire truck. Just don't look. So I was just like, oh my goodness. And I rode in the fire truck as somebody drove my van. Judge me, but worry about you. I've often been questioned about why I play it safe, why I don't play it safe, why I immerse myself in the unknown. The truth is, I do play it safe, but maybe not by your standards or society standards. As a nomad and digital content creator, I live by the affirmation that I said, $1 million views inspire $1 million thoughts, and they inspire my $1 million creations, my $1,000 creations. So there may be a hater out there perched on their perceived high ground, ready to criticize someone who lives in a van and question my actions. Well, let me tell you right now, go bump yourself, bump, bump. I don't judge you, or at least I try not to. Even though I may have my own thoughts, you choose to live in your comfort zone, doing what you've always done to get the same results. You are not superior to me, even if you believe you are, and I am not superior to you, and I don't think I am. I live life on my own terms, and it works for me. We are different, and that's perfectly fine. My cousin is a firefighter, and when I told him about my rescue, he said it's a common occurrence for people to need rescuing, whether it's due to panic, mental health, drugs. He said his response to me was reassuring because knowing that others experience like panic attack or having like just being afraid of driving like on a highway. He said people in their own neighborhood sometimes have panic attacks. So it helped me feel better about the situation, that I was not alone. I had to inform my family about the incident because they were following me on the 360 app. But anyway, I am deeply grateful to the San Bernadino rescue team. I will never forget how they helped me, and I know they won't forget me either. But yeah, in part 2 of this podcast, I am going to share where they dropped my van off, and oh boy. But life is short. We say it all the time. We don't really believe it, because if we really believe life is short, we would do things differently. We would live our life as best we can on our own terms. We would kick items off our bucket list. And I'll leave you with this. Whatever you do and however you do it, always, 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 always take the joy route. Give a thumbs up, leave a comment. I'm reading the comments. I'm not responding back because I won't create content because I'll be so busy down the rabbit hole loving on y'all comments. Thank you. Thank y'all so much for rocking with the channel. And I'll see you in the next episode. Take the joy route. Forgot to mention that I will link to the article of being rescued from the mountain and the part 2 article. And again, thank you so much. Take the joy route, hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment.